Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE Smackdown on October the 18th, 2016. And pretty much they started off the show with a quick promo from Dean Ambrose and James Ellsworth, basically showing they're playing up the entire aspect of the Cinderella story and everything like that throughout the entire show with James Ellsworth and everything in that sense. I'll get into that in a moment, but they started out the main portion of the show with Randy Orton coming out. He cuts a quick promo on the Wyatts, and then you get Bray Wyatt shenanigans, and he shows up on the screen, and he's in a casket cutting a promo to Randy Orton. And basically mind games continuing on. And of course, he ends it with, he's here. Almost like the American Bass variation of Undertaker from beforehand. With that, and that brings out Luke Harper, which brings us to the scheduled match between Luke Harper and Randy Orton. Match ends in disqualification. Also, not even midway, like really early on into the match itself. Bray Wyatt comes out in the casket, like druids dressed with black sheep mask and everything like that. It was interesting. It was one of those moments I was like, what exactly am I watching? I mean that literally. What exactly am I watching? You know that's supposed to be playing off the whole mystical and everything like that area between both sides, or with Bray's side and the mind games on Randy Orton's side. But it ended up coming off very interesting in the end. As they were going to put Randy Orton into the casket, lo and behold, who shows up in the casket? Well, he disappeared last week. He reappears this week. It's Kane, and they chase off the Wyatts. They eventually, it looks like they're gonna take out the Wyatts. Randy's pouncing for the RKO. The lights go out and the Wyatts disappear. Overall, interesting segment. That's all I can really say. I can't really say if it was bad or good. It continues on to the mind game side of everything with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and we'll see where they go with it. I feel like they're going to be doing this match somewhere down the road on SmackDown versus Survivor Series or something, because you'd figure they'd have other plans for them, and especially with the amount of time that they have and how much story they've already really done with this match. You figure they might do this match on one of the SmackDowns versus Survivor Series, but we'll see how they decide to do everything with that. Also tonight, you had Kurt Hawkins. He was supposed to have his debut match, but he gets punched in the face before the match as he's cutting the promo on Apollo Crews. He's like, "You ruined my promo and my debut. I'm out of here." He's gone. They're going this route again. They already had a character that was doing this, Eva Marie. And now Kurt Hawkins is doing it. So they have a male and female variation. They should team them up. They should have mixed tags where they don't show up and everything like that. It would be, I think it would come off great in the end. I'm not sure how this is going to work out on Kurt Hawkins' side in the terms of how it come off on his end. I thought it worked out great with Eva Marie. I don't know how much it's going to work with Kurt Hawkins in this case. So we'll see where they go with everything there. You also had Naomi going up against Alexa Bliss. Alexa goes over in this case, which was an okay match. Little bit like, it felt like they were a little bit awkward in the ring at times and everything in that sense. They did get across everything towards like how Alexa should be coming off and like a furious type person. She continues this whole like movie character type shtick to her outfits, like you had Harley Quinn a couple times. This time she had it be like almost a Freddy Krueger-esque variation to her outfit, more towards, I guess, the Halloween areas. It would be interesting if she comes out in a mask and tries to pull off a Jason gimmick with one of her outfits to go along with it. I don't know how they would pull that off with Alexa, but it would be interesting how they if they would pull something off like that. I don't know. But in the end, okay match. She cuts a promo afterwards. She's doing this whole aspect, and her original character with Alexa Bliss was kind of like a fairy tale-esque character where she was like a princess or something like that down in NXT before she became who she was with Blake and Murphy. but she's still talking about the whole aspect of fairy tales and everything, and then saying that the fairy tale story for Becky Lynch is going to come to an end on November 8th and everything in that sense. I think she kind of messed up the wording of the promo a little bit towards the end and almost referred to it as herself in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I don't fully remember, but it did come off a little bit weird. But she is still playing the whole aspect of the fairy tale story of Becky Lynch and everything towards that at the end. She also has great facials in the terms of showing, as many people have pointed out, and I've seen as well, she just has great facial expressions to display anger and everything like that. She's really good at all those aspects of it. She may not be that good inside of the ring, but, no, at least not yet. But her character just, you can tell the character's strong in that sense of everything. Even though she's not particularly great in the ring, she's good enough to get by with the character that she's going with as well. So, all in all, not a bad segment to go along with that as well. Up next, I wanted to go off and talk about Miz and the Spirit Squad going up against Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater and Rhino. Not a bad match from all sides here, and it looks like maybe they're going to be keeping the Spirit Squad around a little bit longer because Miz and the Spirit Squad pick up the win with the Spirit Squad picking up the victory, picking up the pin over Heath Slater, who also got the hot tag in this match, so he got to do offense and everything like that. And also Mikey taking, or was it Mickey? Mikey or Mickey? I forget the name off the top of my head. I think it's Mikey. I know the other one's Kenny, because it was Kenny Dykstra. Getting hit with a gore, that was probably one of the better gores. Rhino's gore has been one of the best spears in the business to begin with, but this one looked particularly good as well. So, overall, not a bad match. I thought it was an enjoyable match, and we're going to see where they're going with this whole aspect of the Spirit Squad. I mean, you assume that they're going to do a little bit more with them, the factor of them picking up the victory and actually getting the pinfall in this match. So, we'll see where they go with everything on this sense of it. You also had a weird promo backstage with Daniel Bryan and Natalya, where Natalya's trying to get on the Survivor Series team for the female side, and she starts quoting Whitney Houston, gets called out on. It's like, no, I didn't. And then she starts showing cat pictures to Daniel Bryan, and I like the aspect that they continue playing on off of this. That she's still showing pictures later after the Baron Corbin Jack Swagger match, which I'll talk about in a second, when Dean Ambrose interrupts and everything on that to go along with it, which I'll talk about that a little bit more as well, but that's the start of that later segment of the show. Up next, I wanted to talk about the Carmella Nikki Bella promo. This is a good promo. This was a good promo in general, and I found it thoroughly enjoyable. Carmella came off really well on the aspect that she held her own with Nikki Bella, and Nikki Bella held her own with the stuff that Carmella was saying to go along with it. I feel like it builds towards the story between both sides. Carmella actually just attacking the aspect of her relationship with John Cena, but obviously Nikki Bella retorting back to go along with it. If you grasp the tension between both sides, and you want to see another match in some way, shape, or form down the road here. It just came off really well. I thoroughly did enjoy that promo between both sides. Both of them showed good emotion, good tension towards everything, and it just came off really well in the end. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. It was a really good promo. It was thoroughly enjoyable. Up next was Baron Corbin and Jack Swagger. They had a squash match. Corbin going over rather easily in this case, and honestly, it seems like that they're going to be building Corbin here in the very near future. And we'll see where they go about with it. And if you didn't watch it, they had another Talking Smack promo with Baron Corbin on there, which it came off really well, where he gets into Daniel Bryan's face about what's next for him and everything like that to go along with it. So check that out if you have the network in any way, shape, or form. It was a good promo. So this is going to bring to the main storyline of the entire night, which was the AJ Styles James Ellsworth thing. the AJ Styles James Ellsworth match for the main event, which, you know, they played it off. They played it off throughout the entire night. It's like James Ellsworth's getting this attention. He's getting interview time backstage and everything. And it came on. Like, the entire thing was building up as like, are they really going to do this? Are they really going to do this? They won't do this. Are they going to really do this? And then they set up something for backstage with Dean Ambrose and Daniel Bryan, where Daniel Bryan's like, you can't referee this match. It's WWE World Title match. You can't have a special guest referee for that. But you could bring in out. You could do this. You could do that. Like Bellkeeper, doing everything in general. And Dean Ambrose like, yeah, I'll do that. And then just walks away. So it's almost like an assumption that he's just going to do all of that throughout the match, which brings us into the match itself, which is what you kind of expected. It was Dean Ambrose shenanigans yet again. Dean Ambrose obviously stopping the match, saying we got to go to commercial break and everything. In that sense, is like there's some good comical spots in this, and I don't know whether or not I want to like Dean Ambrose comedy style or him being a more edgy type superstar. But the comedy spots I thought came off really well, and they were pretty decently timed. This does eventually lead to James Ellsworth actually getting a little bit of offense in, where he hits a super kick on AJ Styles. And I love how the crowd initially just pops huge for the entire thing. And then realizing Semi is like, you know, this would probably be a bad thing to go along with it too. And I love JBL's reaction to it and the announcer's reaction. It's like, this is like, obviously Mauro and Otunga, which Otunga not so much, but Mauro Ranallo was like talking about the upset and everything, and being semi non-biased, but still like wanting to see Ellsworth win in some way, shape, or form. And JBL saying that it's going to be a complete catastrophe if he wins and everything in that sense. It came off rather well. The match ends in DQ after Ambrose finally goats AJ Styles enough to where he just gets DQ'd for not breaking the 5 count. And it did bring up also another bit from Talking Smack as well, where AJ gets in Daniel Bryan's face and eventually sets up a match next week between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, where if Dean Ambrose wins, he gets a shot at the WWE World Title. So basically, this is continuing the program between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose at this point in time. That's all you got to fully assume on that sense. And it came off decent. Like, I like the comedy spots, but I'm not sure if I want Dean Ambrose to be a comical, making jokes type figure. Like, they didn't feel forced this time around. It felt like a more natural variation with his comic stuff. It didn't feel like he was forcing and reading off of a script or anything like that. Or a more edgy side, which I think the more edgy side of Dean Ambrose would be a little bit better. In the end, I don't know, but this week it came off decent. We'll see how everything goes next week. Obviously, also the end of the show, main show of SmackDown, ends with Dean Ambrose hitting the dirty deeds on AJ Styles, leaving him lying. So continuing on that full-on storyline. Overall, this week's SmackDown was not a bad SmackDown. Like, they did build some decent stories and everything. There were some good segments to go along with it throughout the entire show. So overall, I mean, it wasn't a bad show. I don't think it was one of their stronger showings by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't a bad show to go along with it. So that is my review this week for WWE Smackdown. I thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.